Angela would have to take me with her, and she would cut out of school or be smoking in the schoolyard, and then I would go home. Of course, I was 6 years younger than her, and I would tell my mother, Angela's smoking.
And listen, not everybody's going to agree with my decision. I can give a fuck less. You're in that position, it's you who got to face it, that you do what you need to do.
Little Changolini, he gets to the jail and
steal cars from Maryland and take them to Delaware to a chop shop.
The inside prison in Thailand, as well as what Victor Malarek, the reporter, did to get me out of there.
And I sat down and thought about it for the longest time. Okay, but once I made up my mind, it was about survival. I need to take care of my kids and take care of my family. And when a guy's not being loyal to you, how could you be loyal to him?
Welcome to Chattin with Staxx. Welcome to this episode of Chattin with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today we're going to talk about what it's like to go to prison in Connecticut, or jail for that matter. So before we get started, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell. People, how you guys doing? Hope you guys are having a great Saturday. Cindy, how are you? What's good with everybody? I got a busy ass day planned. That's why I figured I'd jump on here now. There's people out and up and doing things, so I'm up early every day. And I was too busy last night to come on, so I figured I'd jump on now. What's good, Mob Rats 1? Cindy, Richie, what's good with you, man? How you doing? Hope you guys are all having a great day. They're having carnivals and all that stuff going on in my town, so I'm gonna go down there and check it out. I'm gonna get some footage and put it up here for you guys. But today, I want to talk about what it's like to go to Hartford Corrections. The first time I went to Hartford Corrections, I think I was 16, maybe 15. And they messed up and they put me in with the grown-ups. So when I first get arrested, I get arrested for a stolen car, and they bring me to Hartford. Well, first they bring you to court. You sit in there, and I think it was on a weekend, so I had to sit in the cell all weekend. So when you first get arrested, they put you in a cell like this, and you sit in there with nothing. They take your shoes. If you have a hoodie, they're taking your hoodie. They won't let you have a hoodie, anything with strings. If you have like sweatpants with a string on them, they'll take that from you. They take everything, your jewelry. Nah, I wasn't shitting my pants, man. For me, going to prison was like a rite of passage. I was involved with gangs. I wanted to go. Honestly, I was nervous. But it was like a rite of passage. All these kids were like, they were all going to jail. So once I got there was all people that I knew. Yeah, when I got put with the grown-ups, I was a little nervous. But honestly, they were more nervous because I was a young, wild kid. So, and the grown-ups were the ones that would try to put the pressure on you. They would be like, yo, you don't want to go up there. It's really violent. The YO block is crazy, because they had a YO block in Hartford. So I'll show you what the YO block looked like when I was there. So the cells in there looked like this. They had a little ladder and 2 shelves. Sometimes they wouldn't have shelves, but if you went in there, you didn't have no money, because you can't get bonded out, right? You're stuck in county jail, and they stick you in a cell. So what happens when you go to the cell and there's a dude like old man like that in there, and you're a young kid? You got to climb up on the top. Even if you're an old man, say they put 2 old men in one cell together, one of them dudes are getting on the top bunk. It don't matter. They don't care if you're old. They don't care if they don't care if you got broken arm, broken leg. They don't care. They will stick you both in a cell. One of them will be sleeping on the floor. They'll put a big fat dude they'll put a big fat dude with a little skinny dude. The skinny dude will be like, nah, I'm not giving you the bottom bunk. So I was sitting in the cell like this all weekend, and then you have to go to court, and then they send you to the jail. So I'm sitting in the jail, and I'm like, damn, I'm not getting out. I gotta stay here. So I think they were teaching me a lesson at first, and I think it was a month first time that when I stayed in there, and so the older people, they would be like, oh, if you go to Little Cheshire's real crazy, and they're gonna send you there. But so the youth offenders back in the 90s, because this is in the 90s, around 96 maybe. So the youthful offenders, they would have you wear a white jumpsuit inside Hartford Corrections, just to be able to identify who you are. So I looked like this when I went to prison. It's me in the middle. And I wasn't big or nothing. And they had some big kids, man. They're not kids. They must feed them, I don't know, nuclear food or some shit. Because these kids are like mutants. They're so, like, big, like Diesel. Like, it's insane. And so when I get there, yeah, I'm nervous at first because I'm like, damn, man. So they put me in the dorm with all the grown-ups, and I think they just made a mistake. So they gave me regular tans, and I was like, I'm only 15, man. I was only 15 or 16 at the time. So I go in the dorm, and they're like, what? Why'd they put you in here for? And I'm like, I don't know. And they were all looking out for me. The grown-ups were looking out for me. And they said, oh, when you turn 18, they put you, this is where they put you. And they ended up moving me after a couple days. But I seen some wild shit in there, man. So I walk in there, and back then they had cages on the dorm. I don't know if it's still like that now. But this was dorm 4. Dorm 4 in Hartford Corrections. They had cages. So you walk in, there's like cages. Like the wall is a cage. So you got to walk through this cage, and they had another door that closed, and then you're stuck in there, and you had to go out of the cage in order to go to the bathroom, and the CO bubble was out of the cage. And they used to fight in the back. And I remember one time, these dudes snuck into the bubble where the CO sits, and they went to the bathroom on his chair, on the cop's chair in back of the glass, and because they're inside like this little, it's like a little glass. There's like windows with a door, and that's where they sit in there. There's usually 2 of them in there, and someone went to the bathroom on his chair, number 2, and the cop goes in there and sits down on it, and he gets up and he starts freaking out. He's screaming, throwing shit in the bubble. Everybody's laughing. It was funny, and a lot of hilarious things like that, because you try to make the best of your time. I used to like to laugh when I was in there, but these guys used to try to scare you. Oh, when you get over there, you're gonna be fighting every day. It wasn't like that. I mean, yeah, you gotta fight, but it's not every day. And it depends on how you carry yourself. If you fight back, they're not gonna mess with you like that. So they figured out I was young, too young for this, the grown-up dorm. So they moved me. Joe Dallo, what's up, man? How have you been, bro? I'm just chilling, got a real busy day. I figured I'd come on here and tell you guys a couple jail stories. So, they're like, when they get up there, oh man, you're gonna be done. Today, they DNA test the shit to catch the culprit. Probably, man. They probably would. But they used to do all kinds of funny things like that, man. Especially if you're a correction officer out there. Don't eat the food. Because if the inmates are preparing the food for you and you're a correction officer, I don't care how cool you think you are with the inmates. You are not cool with the inmates. They are putting stuff in your food. I don't care if you think they're your best friend. It's because they want to sucker your ass. And I've seen them do that to people too. I've seen them do all kinds of things, man. I've seen them befriend people and slip something in their drink. And you're in prison, so someone offers you a coffee, you're going to want it. You know what I'm saying? So you drink it, all of a sudden you feel weird because they put medicine in your in it. And they gave it to you. And the inmates are the ones who give out all the food. Yankees for life. How you doing, bro? Finn Freak. How are you, man? I haven't seen you guys in a while. I see a lot of them douchebags over I'm not even gonna mention their names. They're not worthy to get their names mentioned over here. But I can see they're still talking, still running their mouth. But I'll be in downtown Bristol. Anyone wants to come see me? I'll be in downtown Bristol, man. Come out and I'll be out there filming. They're having parade, carnivals, and all kinds of things. There's a big Ferris wheel down there. And Brian's Angels has a booth down there. So go check them out if you guys are in the area. So yesterday, I don't know if I told you guys, I have inside footage from the Mount Carmel Social Club in Springfield. And I'm putting together the video and I'm going to drop it. It's where Al Bruno got murdered. So I have inside footage from inside the social club. And I go outside and I show you guys where this all happened. I bring you to the cemetery where Al Bruno's buried. I filmed the whole trip, so it's a pretty good one. Definitely Yankees for life. You already know, man. But so they end up moving me, right? So you have to go up these stairs, and they ended up bringing me. I forgot where it was. I think it was close to C3 in Hartford Corrections. So they called it the YO block. I'll show you a picture of what that looked like. This is the hallway in the YO block. This is one of them. So if you back up, right, to the left, there's another one of these. To the right, there's another one of them. There's 3 of them. This would be, say this is the center tier. They would call this 2. And then the one on the left would be 1, and the one on the right would be 3. So it's pretty, when you look out that little door, all you see is another door. And you could talk to the people across from you. So I get in there. There's a little day room in there too. Gianni, what's good with you, man? Catalano, how are you? Have you guys seen the trailer for the Mob King? It's really good, man. If you guys didn't know, tomorrow we got a real good surprise for you guys. We're going to be dropping some exclusive content. And a lot of people are involved with this thing. So just stay tuned. Tomorrow is going to be a really good day. And if you didn't check out the Mob King trailer, go check it out. It's pretty dope. So they bring me up there and it seemed like they would pick on like the little white kids from, say they were from Farmington or Thomaston or Terryville, or say they were from Glastonbury. There'd be like these little, the little dorky white kid type. They would pick on those type of kids. Kids who acted like I acted, they didn't fuck with me because they knew I would fight back. Well, I did fight back quite a bit. And I didn't win every time. It never does. No one wins every time. Anyone that says they win every time, they're full of shit. Unless they're, a maniac. But I know some maniacs out there who probably win every time. Yeah, man, we're talking about HCC. I've been there quite a bit, and it is the dirtiest place probably in America. They take you off the ice cream truck. You guys know what an ice cream truck is, right? They handcuff you together, usually together in a line with people, and your feet are shackled, your ankles are shackled, all the way up to your hands, and then they have another chain that goes through the arm chain all the way to the person in the front, and then they make you get up in the ice cream truck. It's cold as hell. It's all metal, and there's like a thing that separates each side, and they drive like maniacs. Somebody just got killed in the ice cream truck, matter of fact. They were driving crazy. The dude slammed on the brakes or something, and the dude slid to the front, and it broke his neck, killed him. And this happened in Connecticut. I've never been to HCC, but most of my friends from CT have. Yeah, man, it's a brutal place, bro. So I've been to I've been all over that prison. I've been to every cell block, almost. I mean, I've been to C3. I've been to South Block. That is the nut job block. I've been to all the dorms, 3, 4, and then they start having these little dorms, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and they put like 5 or 6 people in there. When I won the fight, I was still wore evidence of a fight. Yeah, definitely. I would have black eyes all the time. Other people would have them too, though. So, but I'll never forget when I first got there, they were having rec in the day room, right? And they only used to let you out for like an hour. It was really bad. You'd be stuck in this little tiny cell like this for all day. 24 hours. You'd have 1 hour out. And it sucked. Like, it sucked. You get out there, and they usually be picking on one of the kids out there. One of them, they making him do push-ups with the dude's foot on his back. Like, things like that. And then when you're in the cell, a lot of them would run their mouth. But, so one day, I'm sitting in the cell, and the tier man would come down. So you want that job. The guy that mops the floor. You want that job in prison. So he's going down the tier, and he looks in the cell where this new kid. Did you have a cellmate? Yeah. Every time, man, they would move you around cell to cell. You'd have a cellmate. I had a couple I didn't like. I had a couple I got into fights with. A couple that were cool. And it's all hit or miss, man. Sometimes you'll get a real old person. Like this guy in a wheelchair and shit. Sometimes you'll get a nut job. It's all hit or miss. So the guy who's mopping the floor, he looks into this new cell where these people are, right? Go get your Chattin with Staxx cups at my store. And he looks in the cell, and he sees the new kid in there. And the new kid is in there for shooting and killing the mop man's brother. So, what happens? The mop guy is waiting for them. The other, there's like other workers in there. You know, they used to bring the food in there. They do everything. The workers do everything, and they're always inmates. So he gets all the workers together. I don't know if they're in a gang. I didn't know, because I just got here at this point. So they come over to the door. He's like, "You killed my brother," and all this. And they're yelling gang shit through the door. And the kid in the cell thinks that they're not going to get me. I'm in the cell. I'm safe, right? Nah, he wasn't safe. So the worker goes, "Yo, pop the door." And they did it. They popped the door. All of them ran in the cell and they beat the dog shit out of this kid. Like bad. Like I felt bad. They were jumping on him, stomping on his head off the bunk. It was bad. Like bad. And they just left him in there. And went out of the cell, closed the door, and that was it. Guard didn't go check on him or none of that shit. It doesn't go down like that. And when he finally came out of the cell, he looked like Elephant Man, all lumped up. It was terrible. You would see people, like, say they would call you medical or something. You would see people all lumped up. And some of them had some brutal shiners. Black eyes, broken orbital bones. Some people had broken jaws. You saw a lot of cuts on faces. That was the first time I saw people with tattoos on their face. Never seen people in real life with tattoos on their face until I went to prison. And then you started seeing it. It was, there was quite a bit of kids with tattoos on their face when I was in Little Cheshire. That's a whole nother episode. Little Chester's a whole nother episode. Because when I'm in Hartford, a lot of them had teardrops, but they would have other things tattooed on their face. And I've never seen that in real life. Like tattoos on your face, period. I never seen them until I got to prison. People in the streets never had them before. Not in the 90's. There was none of that shit. So people who got tattoos on their face in the 90's, people looked at them like, "Yo, this dude's got something wrong with him. Tell me I'm not lying. Tell me I'm lying." People used to be like, "Yo, man, the teardrop tattoo and the smile, the frown mask." A lot of them had the frown, the Los Solitos, the happy, sad face. That's the Los Solitos gang. That's the gang symbol for the Los Solitos. Laugh now, cry later. So if you go to prison, right? Let me show you this real quick. If you go to prison, don't go there with this tattoo. Because if you do, you're most likely going to have a problem. Pretty big one. I've seen people come in there with this tattoo because they got not know. So this is the symbol for the Los Solitos, the gang. It's a gang in Connecticut. They're pretty powerful, and this is what they go by. So if you get a tattoo of this, laugh now, cry later, don't go to Connecticut prison, because you 100% will have a problem. They asked me to be down with the gang so many times in prison. Hispanic gangs, the Latin Kings, other gangs, the Bloods. They've asked me to join in prison, and I was like, nah. Because you have more problems. More. Like, it's so much easier to be a freelance person in prison. You don't need to be in a gang. If you can fight and you can hold your own, then there's no need to join a gang. They are pretty powerful, and if you want things done, you probably have to deal with them in prison because they're the ones who run the prison. Regardless of what anyone says, the gangs run the prison. When the guard goes out of that room, the gangs run that shit. And they will handle shit. Like, another time I saw someone got caught stealing inside the dorm in Hartford. Now I'll show you what the dorm looks like. This is a picture of, I believe it's dorm 2 in Hartford Corrections. I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. I have a lot of different jail stories I can tell you guys. And I'm gonna start explaining some of them. Some of them are really brutal. Some of them are funny. So this is what the dorm looks like when you go in there. Some of them have half walls. I believe this is in Cybulski. But it's pretty much the same thing everywhere. It looks like a big gymnasium type thing. You walk in there and there's people everywhere. So inside those little cubes, there's 6 people in one of those cubes. 6. Sometimes they'll take lockers out and put 4 bunks in there, and there'll be 8 people in one of those cubes. Now, 2 grown men cannot walk by each other in that cube. Like, if you have to go to your locker and grab something, you gotta wait till someone moves. You can't, like, walk past them. Though they're so tight. So when I get to prison, right? This is later in life. But so when I get to prison, there's a dude, I think he's from Bridgeport. Shout out to Big Pun. I walk in there. Big Pun is my bunkie. Dude weighs like 500 pounds. I believe he's from Bridgeport, Connecticut. Shout out to Big Pun. If you're out there, man, I know you remember me. So I'll tell you a little story about Big Pun, right? Big Pun was a younger kid. He was Spanish. He was a big dude, right? And Osborne, bro. I got plenty of stories at Osborne. So I'm going to get into all of these. It'll be different episodes because I have different blocks of time and I'll have to separate it somehow, you know? But I'm definitely going to get into Osborne because that's a brutal place too. But there's other ones that are way worse. But conditions in Osborne are terrible. So I walk in there, right? Big Pun is my bunkie. Big Pun is pretty big. He's huge. Like really big. Now, at night, you eat like mofungos and tuna fish and all these soups and shit, right? So it gives you gas. So this big motherfucker, man, I'm laying there. Northern's crazy, bro. Northern, yeah, they shut down Northern. So, thank you, Cindy. So, Big Pun goes to sleep. This is like my first day in there, right? And this dude farts in his sleep. And I'm like, I jump off my bed. Like, I'm in the dorm. This is the dorm that looked like this, right? Jump off my bed. I run out there. I'm like, ugh, ugh. So the next day, I'm like, yo, don't be doing that, bro. I said, like, I was fucking aggravated. I'm like, don't be doing that. And this kid was in a gang, man. No, like, all of them were. So I'm like, bro, don't do that. Get up and go somewhere. Like, don't just sit there. I'm on the bunk on top of you, bro. Don't do that. So he's like, okay. Hit that like button, people. So the next day, right? The next night, yeah, they had an electric chair in Connecticut. They took it out. They used to have death row, but they took it all out. So listen to this. The next night, this dude eats a big ass plate. He goes like this, yo. Right when you walk in there, you could smell. It's like a certain funk that prison has. So the next night, I'm laying there, I'm trying to sleep, right? There's a knock on the bunk. I look down, I'm like, what up? Goes, yo, Bunky, can I fart? I'm like, bro, get your ass up and get the fuck out of here. Get your ass up and get out of here. This dude tapped on my bunk like, said, yo, can I fart? It was insane. It was the funniest thing I ever heard, man. But yeah, I got a lot of other stories that I'm going to be dropping for you guys. I appreciate everyone who checks out my show. I appreciate everyone. Hit the like button, please. If you didn't know, Mr. Loomis Santoro, Mafia Truth, is doing a show with my friend Lou Silver. So go check out Mafia Truth. He's going on at 12 o'clock. I don't want to cut into his time, so I'm going to get off now. Go check him out, Mafia Truth, and he's interviewing my good friend Lou Silver. He's an actor, and he's got a crazy story, so go check him out. And hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you could get my videos every time they drop. A lot more stories coming, and I'm going live later. See you guys later. Peace.